we talked briefly about academics and the importance of having that foundation. And you obviously came in with that foundation. The average MCAT, the MCAT's changed now. It's not it's a different test. So it's the average MCAT for currently is 504 for Kirksville College of Osteopathic Medicine. And the average, last year, the average science GPA was 3.54. You obviously had those backgrounds, but so many people don't, who could be really good doctors. When you come or determine an average, there are those students who fall below that average and those students who are above that average. Just because you're below that average doesn't mean you won't be a good doctor. It doesn't mean you can't at least pursue your dream with some vigor. There might be some things you have to do to remediate that path, but that's okay. So what advice would you give a young person who has met with challenges, whether they be the academic or whether they be the financial challenges of getting through high school and then undergraduate, to continue pursuing his or her career goal of becoming a doctor?
Okay, that's a very good question. My advice would be really diversify your portfolio. That's the advice that Dr. Craig Phelps gave me back in 2005 when I talked to him about MCAT scores. He said, Justin, get your hand in as much things as possible. If you have an interest in sports medicine, which Dr. Phelps was the team doctor for the Phoenix Suns, if you have a passion for underserved medicine, go ahead and get those experiences. One thing I did in my undergrad was get involved with hospice. I had about 8 years of hospice experience before I even applied to KCOM, something I'm very passionate about, which I'm doing here in Kingman today. So my main advice would be diversify your portfolio, network with as many professional executives that you can, and also with students, because you never know where one handshake can lead.
That is fantastic. And Dr. Phelps is the president of AT-STILL University, and as Dr. Garrison mentioned, he is by nature a sports medicine doctor, having worked with the Phoenix Suns for a very long time and in private practice here in Arizona. All the people, the senior level administrators that you've worked with or spoken to on ATSU's campus, that kind of gives me the perspective that this might be an open, welcoming, and kind of a family feel environment.
It is, and that's one of the key concepts that led me to AT-STILL. And to piggyback off your last question that you asked me, is one thing I really liked about Kirksville and stood out was the fact that they look at the whole person. They don't just look at a score. They don't look at GPA or MCAT. Miss Lori Haxton, I still remember her interview. She's a big Green Bay Packers fan, and she knew my brother played in the NFL. So really, she spent the whole time kind of beating me up on my choice of sports teams. But that really meant a lot. Got to know me as a person to make sure I was going to be a good fit on both ends.
Lori Haxton, again, another senior level administrator at AT-STILL University, is the vice president of student affairs. So under her charge is admissions and student life. So her unit helps create that welcoming and opening environment. And I just love talking to you and hearing that you've communicated and interacted with so many different people across both campuses, which really resonates so often when we talk about diversity. When we talk about diversifying a campus, we struggle to determine what creates a welcoming and inclusive environment. So do you think for our young people who are listening, who are contemplating a career in medicine or any of our other allied health programs, how can they find within themselves that strength, that courage to start working to that path and reaching out to others?
Okay, that's a very good question as well. Really, I can just say from a personal standpoint, for me, coming from my strong sports background, whenever I set my mind to something, I set out to accomplish. And for me, I really knew that I wanted to be a physician at the young age, and there's many obstacles in getting there. And when one door kind of shut on me, I opened up another one, and that's where I networked more. I knew in my mind I was going to do whatever it took to get where I wanted to be, and that was become a physician.
That's fantastic. We at AT-STILL University operate under the assumption of coach proficiency, the model of coach proficiency. That is a way in which one behaves, the appropriate behavior, ability to behave appropriately in different cultural settings. So this ideology really creates that welcoming, inclusive atmosphere, because if you're always paying attention to the setting that you're in and inclusive at every juncture, then you're welcoming all those, even those who might be on the periphery from any other external makeup that one might characterize a person. So in closing, what I would say to our audience, to any young person, and to echo what Dr. Garrison said, be courageous enough to reach out to those people who are within your sphere. Dr. Garrison has done it. He has gone through those challenges and the journey to become a physician, what he's always wanted to be. And you can too. Be the light of hope you wish to see in the world. You know, diversity means more than a hue. Our society is so distraught with regard to healthcare practitioners in terms of diversity. We have to create a workforce that is reflective of the communities that we say we're going to serve. And that's for all of us. And the whole idea of this webinar and getting there is for you to see people like Dr. Garrison who are doing that very thing, who've gone out from their community to get their education, only to return to provide service based on that ideology. So be the light of hope you wish to see in America. Be that person who inspires someone else. The old adage, lift as we climb, is often utilized, particularly in the African American community. So it's important for all of us to understand that we stand on the shoulders of greatness. And there are many out there who are trying to create opportunity and access so that you can achieve your goals. And we are doing that at ATSU University. So Dr. Garrison, I want to thank you so much, not just for what you do, because it is profound and instrumental in us achieving that kind of workforce diversity we need in healthcare, but also for all those people whom you touch.
Thank you.
And again, go to our website, www.atsu.edu/diversity. Learn all there is to know about ATSU University, its history, the programs, the opportunities. You too can be here. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.